you're watching. And many of you watch the replays, so please type in hashtag replay so I know that you've watched this video. This is about investing in property and creating financial freedom. This is for our freedom tribe. So if you want to invest in property, you want to create freedom, you should be watching this, so pay attention. But if you get offended easy and you're a snowflake, I suggest you switch off now because it's probably not for you.
My mate George here, he retired at the age of 37 by investing in property. Mate, I feel like I'm with royalty today.
I think George is a great mentor because he really does care. The George I know, I met him 3 years ago, he does care. That's why he does his work. So I can talk to you about cash flow and all those things. George is better at that than me.
Property guru George Markowski from Positive Property Solution joins us now. George, good morning to you.
How are you, George?
Okay guys, me and my team are about to go live, so make sure you grab your beverage of choice, sit down, and you're in for an amazing show. Hello and welcome to the Positive Property Show. Coming to you with George and Adam. Adam, how you doing, mate?
Afternoon. How are you, George? How is downtown, wherever you are in the world?
Yes, I'm currently in India, actually, at the Hilton.
Downtown India.
So there you go, having fun here. It's nice and warm. You know, I'm in Pune, and this city, Pune, there's more people in Pune than all of Australia.
Jesus. And where's that city, like, for someone like myself who hasn't travelled to India?
Near Mumbai. The Osho thing is here, that big thing about where they talk about spirituality and things like that.
Okay. And how many people are there? More people than our country?
Just about. There's like 25, 26 million people here.
Yeah. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh,
What's it like getting around? Transport's okay?
Look, this is the deal. I'm in the hotel. As you can hear, it's nice and quiet. As soon as you get out the front, it is just a cacophony of noise.
Really.
The way the Indians drive here is they have one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on the horn the whole time. And they practically beep every 30 to 45 seconds.
Shit. That'd be.
And they don't have lanes. They don't have lanes. So what happens is you go to the left, then you veer to the right, veer to the left, then just veer backwards and forwards. And then people stop and walk and go everywhere. And it's like, you got to be on the ball. You got to be really on the ball if you're going to drive here.
Especially even crossing the road by the sounds of it. Do they pat you?
Yes. So what happened was, funny enough, I normally don't cross the road unless I see other locals here. And then I go next to them and wait for them to go across because they can pick it. I can't, right?
Yeah.
And they're more confident. So what happens is I need to go to this appointment and I'm looking at the road and there's no one there. But then on the side, in the middle, there's some people there. I'm thinking, what the hell? I'll go there. So I go stand there with them and I'm waiting. Light turns green. They all turn around. They weren't waiting to cross the road. They're beggars waiting for cars to stop to beg. And I was waiting, right?
That's golden.
Oh, yes. So there you go. So I've been helping out the beggars in India, working it all out. Anyway, let's talk about buying properties as the plan. But just one quick thing. I heard recently about the floods in Queensland. Tell me about the floods. What's been happening? Are people safe? Hey,
mate. Yeah, so Southeast Queensland, it's pretty much news on every TV channel in Australia. There's been a lot of rain, so starting some sort of Christmas, going all the way through to now. Pretty much, from everything I've seen and heard, not one of our properties has been affected. None of the Positive Property. Most of the places that are flooding are in flood-prone areas. They're older houses. They're built up on stumps and stilts, and people are building in underneath. So what happens? Yep. They're built up for a reason, but you build in underneath, and then that gets flooded. Not putting anyone talking down to anyone, but that's just the fact of living in a flood zone. Your house potentially will flood, and it flooded back in 2022, and it's flooded a few times over the years.
Oh, look, Brisbane,
But-
Queensland floods. That's the fact of it. Now, the thing is,
Yeah.
if you have a house on stilts and you want to use that space down below, it's at your risk. You know what I mean? It comes in handy. Every couple of years, it's going to get full of water, so don't put anything valuable in there. Don't have your big screen TV, your man cave, everything in there because it's going to get wrecked. Also,
Well, just on,
yep.
just on that point, so over Christmas, obviously everyone shuts down. So I took a sample of my pool water in to go and get my water tested, and my local pool guy laughed at me and said I had zero amount of chlorine. So the amount of rain we've had has flushed all the chlorine out of the pool, even though the chlorine has been working all the way through. So we've had a lot.
Yeah. The thing is, a lot of people are scared of investing in Queensland because of the floods, right? And they're scared it's going to flood. I get this question all the time. And the thing is, at the end of the day, there's going to be risks no matter where you build or buy, just different risks. And what you've got to do is you've got to mitigate the risks. And this thing called insurance, you've got to get the right insurance because a lot of people get the wrong insurance. And this is what happened with the flooding. I think it was 4 or 5 years back. I reckon it was about 7 or 8 years back in Brisbane when we had that really big flood of the Brisbane River. Yeah. Anyway, so what happened there is flooded. All these people claimed on insurance, and a lot of the companies had a clause that you're not covered for floods.
Not covered from natural. Yeah, there was a clause in there.
Yes, and that really was terrible because a lot of people missed out. So when you get insurance, you really got to get the right insurance, and you got to make sure that you're covered for floods because they take out acts of terrorism, act of war, and all this other stuff, acts of God and things like that. But a lot of insurance companies do cover you for floods. Make sure you get the right one.
Make sure we get. Yeah, that's right. But on the other hand, just to reassure, when you're buying a new property, for example, a townhouse, apartment, whatever you're buying, the council will not let developers build on a flood-prone area. So
Exactly.
they look at the 100-year and also the 200-year flood map, and they will not allow any developments to go ahead on these pieces of land. So
No, totally. I mean,
you're buying new.
the last 20 years, we have never built on a flood zone in 20 years.
No.
You can imagine how many houses we've helped people get, and we haven't done this in 20 years because we just don't do it.
Yeah. And that's like all the flood reporting and all the information I've received back. There's been nothing that's even come close to flooding.
That's right. And you've gone around taking photos of some of our development sites, and we're going to share them in our private group so everyone can have a look and be self-assured.
I was actually in Morayfield. I drove over the bridge they shut down, and I drove over and I looked, and I'm like, holy shit. But I'm not even joking. The water was probably 30 centimeters underneath the bridge. And I'm like, I won't be getting out of here. So I drove over. I wish I took a photo, but I didn't. But I drove in, drove around our sites, and I looked around. I'm like, oh, yeah, there's water. It just was rising so quickly.
Wow. Full on. Yeah, so I want to talk a bit about world news quickly. I mean, what happened recently, as you know, over a year ago, there's the Ukrainian-Russian sort of conflict. And what happened through that is that increased and created more inflation. And whenever we have inflation, property prices go up because they're hard assets. And unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about what happened with Israel recently. So Israel are having this massive conflict in Gaza. And then what's happened is down south the Red Sea, the Houthis have said, any ships that go past, we're going to blow the shit out of them.
Yeah.
America keeps saying, we're not going to expand the conflict. We're going to bomb this place. Then we're not going to expand the conflict. They're bombing something else now. So it's funny how they keep saying we're not going to expand anything, but they keep bombing new countries. So I've got a feeling this is not going to stop very quickly.
No.
Right?
Did you hear about the American army base getting
a
drone attack and killing
three people? Yeah. So it's slowly escalating.
Yeah.
And shipping costs have gone up quite dramatically already.
Yes.
Now, what happens is when you stop or slow down shipping, That's a constraint.
Everything down.
Constraint. That's a constraint. And when you have a constraint, you've got a lack of supply. And as we always talk about demand and supply, if you got less supply, it creates more demand, which pushes the prices up, which is called inflation.
Mm-hmm.
So, even though everyone's thinking, wow, we finally got through this inflation, I'm sorry to be a bearer of bad news. It's going to get worse. We're literally, I predict the next 12 to 24 months, inflation is going to go up. What does this mean? This means that the living expenses are going to go up. It's going to cost more to live. A lot of Australian families are struggling already at the moment because of this. What does that mean for property prices? It means they're going to go up. Now, one thing about Australia, we were very fortunate. If you look at countries, so for example, if shipping goes bad and you're Hong Kong, where 100% of your income is from external trade, it's going to have a massive effect on Hong Kong. You're screwed. In Australia, 70% of all the money in Australia is created in Australia from Australians for Australians. So we're not affected much by the global stuff as what other countries are. Because of that, we're slightly insulated and we're going to fare a lot better. But as countries, go.
I think we are faring better just at the moment. You see some of the worldwide reports and what's happening with prices and what's happening here and there. We seem to be faring pretty well from my point of view.
Yeah, we are. No, Australia's going to do well. And the funny thing is, whenever there's a conflict and things slow down, like the Ukrainian-Russian war, that pushed up our commodity prices, pushed up a lot of stuff that we do.
Well, gold, have you seen gold today? Gold's almost 10,000 a kilo.
Yep. So it's good. And when gold goes up, Australia goes up because we're one of the biggest gold producing countries in the world. And then people work at the gold mines. Because what happens is, with a gold mine, depending on the price of gold, some gold mines get shut down.
Yeah, it's not
And
worth
copper
digging
mines,
out.
it's not worth digging out. Price goes up, suddenly they're worth digging out again, and they open up again. So what happens is, now that commodity prices are going up, there's a lot of mines in Australia that are becoming more and more profitable, and they're going to open up. They're going to open up more jobs for people. They're going to make lots of money. It's going to flow back into the economy. So all in all, we're going to do well, but it's going to be tough for the whole world with this what's happening with the whole Red Sea and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We didn't talk much about buying off the plan, so I want to quickly jump into that before we go to our private group.
Sure.
Do you want to just tell us what's good, what's bad about buying off the plan?
The good and the bad points of buying off the plan.
Yeah.
Well, the good point is, okay, I'm obviously not ready for this one, George, but I can answer it. So
Yeah.
the good points are, you're basically buying at today's price. You're putting a 5% or 10% deposit down today and no more to pay until it's completed. You are also locking in a contract at the pricing. As George is saying, prices are probably continually going to go up for the next 24 months. So therefore, building costs are going to go up, land costs are going to go up, development costs are going to go up. So you're locking in at today's price. Your development may not be finished for 6, 12, 18 months, but you've locked in at that fixed price. So I think that's a big advantage of buying off the plan. You've also got the security where you haven't settled on the land, you don't have a mortgage on the land, you don't have a mortgage on paying the drawdown payments of your house being built. You've got a 5% or 10% deposit sitting there until it's completed. So your money is pretty safe if anything bad happens.
Yeah, so what you're saying, if you're buying off the plan for a townhouse, a single part contract, a lot safer. If you buy a house and land, it's a little bit riskier because you're paying down payments. And if the builder goes broke halfway through, you're sort of stuck and in a bit of a...
But you're covered by the insurance. The insurance companies, because of the amount of builders that are going down at the moment, you are very much covered by the HIA insurance policy. And they will find a new builder for you.
But it's difficult. It's difficult. It's not easy. It's stressful. And the thing is, but if you buy a house and land, you don't pay stamp duty on the house. You save money and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, if you're buying a house and land, you're much better off going with a group like us. So that way we can do all that stuff for you if it happens. Now, one thing is, I mean, in 20 years, how many builders have we had go broke during our projects? Zero. I'm pretty proud of that. Someone just said news says inflation is down. Yes, inflation is down. I'm predicting what's going to happen in the future. Inflation is going to go up worldwide, and it may affect Australia because I'm hoping it's going to stay the same. The fact of it is, when shipping costs go up, inflation goes up. But putting interest rates up is not going to stop that inflation. So hopefully the Reserve Bank's smart enough not to do that. Has to be a reputable company so they don't go bust. Yes,
I just wanted to make a note on that one, George. I saw that comment pop up. Like, companies like, your Porter Davis, like they were a very reputable company. They're a big business, and no one would have thought they would have gone bankrupt. So I think it's more about your due diligence on the builder rather than saying, oh, yeah, Metricon's a big builder, they're not going to go bankrupt. Or,
you can't, I totally agree. I mean, big companies have gone broke. What's that massive company that went bankrupt recently? Massive company.
No, that was Porter Davis with 1,800 houses under construction, something like that.
Right.
Like it was.
So one of the things we do is we do site checks. So Adam and the team will drive up, check out the site, talk to the tradies, find out if they're getting paid, that sort of stuff, the inside story. And that helps us because we recently dodged a bullet in WA.
Yeah.
Because of I don't know, but you know what? I love what you did. It was great. And we were lucky. We caught it early. We pulled everyone out and we saved them, which is great. Anyway, look, we're going to go to our private group now. We're going to the inner circle. So what I'd like to do, guys, is say thank you for watching. Really appreciate you all. So I've been in India for the last couple of weeks. Next week, I'm in Bali in a tropical paradise. So I look forward to it. Cheers, guys. Enjoy your week.